Hey everyone, good evening. What time is it? I think it's about 7:30 or something, New Mexico time. And I'm just hanging out here with my dog. And the thing I wanted to talk about today is Indigenous education reclamation. Because the issue that we have going on is that for a long time, education has been decided for Dene people. And my grandmother tells me that long time ago, in the 1930s, when anyone was caught speaking Navajo in class, they'd have to go in the corner and they have to write 100 times, "I will only speak English. I will only speak English. I will only speak English." And they actually made it a law that Native American youth would have to attend these boarding schools, and if they didn't, then they would actually have to take their rations away from the tribe. So essentially you're basically saying, we're going to take your children, and if you don't let us, we're going to hold your food from you. And so this is sort of the foundation of the assimilation of Indigenous youth. And so today we have a real grave and serious issue on our hands where a lot of Native American languages are actually on the brink of extinction. And so it's kind of unfortunate because these languages hold within them entire paradigms and that help us to honor and help us to see the world in a way that helps us to take care of it. So not only were our languages destroyed, but also our food systems. Today you go on your average reservation and a lot of times you see people drinking a lot of sweets, eating a lot of carbs, and eating everything except for our traditional diet, right? So and this is not our fault. A lot of times people make fun of Native Americans like, oh, they're so poor, and oh, they're so unhealthy, and oh, their reservations look horrible. And it's like, dude, why do you think any of that is going on? I mean, that's sort of like shooting someone in the leg and then laughing at them because they're crippled. It's, or maybe it's like shooting them in the leg and laughing at them because they can't keep up with you. And so that's sort of the issue that Indigenous peoples are dealing with right now. People don't see our present situation in the context of history. So these schools not only took away the language, but they took away the foods that we used to eat. And if you have the example of the Winnemem Wintu, and I saw Pua, Auntie Pua sign on there, she knows Sister Colleen Sisk, and they built a dam which prevented the salmon from going up. So these people would eat tens upon tens upon tens of pounds of salmon every year, and now all of a sudden they have no salmon. And so our bodies start to blow up. We start to have obesity issues, but this is not our fault. This is because we are eating things that our bodies cannot metabolize. In fact, if you're eating all of this crap and you still don't gain weight, that's actually not a good thing, because that means that your body is not sensitive to these types of things. If you eat potato chips and soda and blah, 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 and you blow up, that's a good indicator, because that means your body still remembers that this stuff is bad for you. And your body is giving you a message that, hey, this isn't good for me. So the boarding schools took away the languages, they took away the traditional foods, they took away the community structure, and you have the Dawes Act, which basically took all of our collective ownership of land and divided us all up and said, okay, you're going to have a piece of land, and you're going to have a piece of land, you're going to have a piece of land. And on one hand, natives were like, oh, cool, I like legally own land. The government's not going to take it away from me, which sometimes happened anyways. But on the other hand, it was like, oh, wait, now our communal ownership and communal stewardship of huge land bases has been disrupted, and we've been divided against each other. So the boarding schools messed up language, they messed up traditional foods, they messed up the traditional stewardship of land. And so also they really taught the students to be individualistic. So there's some crazy things I've been learning in my American Indian education history class where they say things like, we must teach the savage to keep. He's always giving things away. We must teach him to keep his money in his pocket for himself. And so this intense individualization was impressed upon Native people. And that's important to realize, because if one apartment building of people decided to put their money towards land instead of paying the landlord $200,000 a month to live in this high-rise collectively, if those people decided to put their rent towards buying land and creating a sustainable food system, then the whole landlord system would be destroyed overnight. So there's a reason that they divide us against each other, not only natives, but all people. So anyways, my point to all of this is that we as Dene people have always been leaders in conversations about reclaiming education. There's a lot of other tribes who do this as well, like the Akwesasne Freedom School that is teaching Mohawk language, like the Karis Children's Learning Center, which is a full immersion Cochiti Pueblo school, and there's other incredible models out there of Indigenous people who are reclaiming their education, who's taking their children back and saying, you know what, we gave you our kids for about 150 years now, and it's not working. You totally screwed them up. You've taught them the American dream way, which they're always never quite good enough to be in the middle class. And we would like our children back now. We would like to reassume responsibility for the education of the next generation. Here's the issue, here's the hang-up, is that a lot of Native people think to themselves, well, I actually don't know how to teach my kids anymore. I don't have the skills, I don't have the confidence, I don't have the trust in myself to actually become an educator of the next generation. But what we are doing now as Indigenous peoples is we are saying, we trust ourselves. We trust in our creative ability. I've been reading a lot of Paulo Freire, so I've been thinking about that a lot. But we trust our ability, and we trust the knowledge we inherently have as everyday people to create an education for our children that is going to give them a sustainable life, a fulfilled life, a spiritual conscience, a generous conscience, and an ability to live in harmony with Nehema Nahasa, our Mother Earth. So I wanted to tell you all today that, you know, we're gathering 30 Dene people. We actually already met in, December. And we were talking about, okay, if we could teach and learn anything, what would it be? And all around the Hogan, which is our traditional structure, every single person said, I want to teach traditional ecological knowledge. I want to teach ceremonial and cultural knowledge. This is what's important to us as Dene people. And I wasn't sure because I just posed the question. I didn't know what people were going to say, but this is what we want. We do not want to educate our children to get a job, to make money, to participate in the destructive system of capitalism, which is destroying our mother, not nourishing our mother. We want our children to have the tools and the knowledge and the resources to actually not only not destroy Mother Earth, but to nourish her, to protect her, and to give life to her in the same way she gives life to us. So this is what we as Dene people want. And we proved that in December. Now, later this month, we're going to be meeting again, these 30 Dene people. We're going to be talking about what do we want to do. Okay, we have all these ideas. One young man said, I want to learn about horses. Another young man said, I want to teach permaculture through a Dene perspective. Another person says, I want to teach people the importance of debe, our sheep. Why this is important. Another person said, I want to teach people how to do large-scale land stewardship. and also to work on the corn planting. Another person said, I want the youth to know our stories, our traditional stories, which teach them everything they need to know to be able to live a good life. So these are the things that we decided we want. And so we are asking you to pray for us, to be behind us, and to be inspired by us, and to go out there and help your tribe, whatever tribe you might come from, to rekindle the indigenous ancestral knowledge that we know is needed not only for our tribes, but for everyone around the world. Because right now, our system is collapsing. Our entire monoculture system of corn, which has just a very narrow genetic pool, is incredibly susceptible to disease. And even our monetary system, our education system, our political system is becoming more and more clear that, oh wow, this Western structure isn't that civilized after all, is it? This Western structure isn't so sophisticated after all, is it? It's actually destroying everything around us. It's actually making it incredibly difficult for us just to have a basic peace within our world. And so with that, we're starting to see indigenous education, grassroots indigenous education, founded on the principles and the teachings of our own culture, is really going to help us to create a world that's not only good for our people, but good for all people. So anyways, long story short, we kicked off a fundraiser, and that's not why I'm making this video. I'm not trying to ask you for money, although you're welcome to if you want. But mainly I'm just trying to say that get ready, because I think me and my friends and my elders and my nephews and my nieces and the parents that we work with, we're about to blow your minds. And we're about to blow our own minds, because we've been conditioned in the Western school system so deeply that we don't even know what we're missing. We don't even know what we don't have. The only people who know are our elders who didn't go through these education systems. The elder who told me, I cannot teach you anything through a book. I cannot teach you anything through a board. I cannot teach you anything through my words. I can only teach you by bringing you out into the grazing pastures. I can only teach you by bringing you out into the cornfields. I can only teach you by introducing you to this fire. She literally said this in Navajo. We had to have a translator because of colonialization, none of us speak Navajo, sadly. So she said, this is the way that we teach. These are the instructional methods that we use. And so please be with us, she said, and let me teach you the old way. And if you allow me to do this, I'm going to give you good health. I'm going to give you good mind. I'm going to give you good spirit. I'm going to give you good voice. And so these are the things that we are about to delve into. And at the end of this month, we're going to create a concrete plan for a summer school, which is going to allow us to reclaim the beauty of who we are. And a lot of Dene people have done this over the years. We're kind of famous for reclaiming education on our own terms, but we're doing it again because, like some famous person said some time ago, every new generation needs their own revolution, and every new generation needs to create their own answers and solutions to their own problems. So anyways, I would very much love for all of you to keep us in your prayers and keep us in your thoughts. And we're trying to raise like $1,900 to get, a van to bring us to our Eastern Sacred Mountain, because our educational system is mediated through prayer. In the old days, if you were going to learn, you go to Google, but it's the ancient Google. It's like the traditional Google, where you go out into the land and you pray, and then you start downloading all of these answers. And the Indigenous, the spirits and the holy people, they teach you through downloading, through your body, through your spirit, through the land. The birds can teach you, the plants can teach you, everything can teach you. And so that's why we are starting our entire process by going to the Eastern Sacred Mountain on the new moon to put our prayers down and say, you know, everything starts in prayer. Even this conversation about Dene education starts in prayer. So we had to we're going to rent a passenger van. Any Dene people out there, if you want to join us, let me know. We are keeping it just Dene for now. So we're not trying to be exclusive. We're not trying to be mean, but we just need a little bit of time to be together to figure out our thing. You know, we need a little bit of time to communicate with each other and to learn from our elders so that we can kind of just take a moment to reflect together. But we're not trying to be like, you know, mean or anything. So in this sense, I'm just asking you to keep us in your prayers, and we're trying to rent a big van, a 15-passenger van to take us out to the mountain, some gas money, blah, blah, food. But it doesn't cost much, you know. That's what my mentor told me. Creators' work does not cost a lot of money, and that's a good thing because I don't got very much money. So this is what we're really realizing, is that our revolution doesn't need to cost a lot of money. Our revolution, hopefully by the time we attain it, won't cost any money at all, because we'll be off the money grid and into the indigenous, agricultural, architectural, spiritual, dialogical grid, so that we can be together in that way. And I just saw my cousin Crystal joined. We'd love for you to be a part of this, Crystal. We need as many Dene people a part of this as possible. And we love all of you so much. I'm going to post the little crowdfunding thing to the link above if you want to help. But also, I'm just really glad to talk to you about this, regardless of the fundraising thing. Crystal, Barney, we need you to come too. All Dene people, we need you to come, because we want you to be a part of this little revolution that we're trying to be starting, of reclaiming grassroots ancestral Dene education. So anyways, that's my very long-winded way of saying check out the link that I'm going to put up above in the little description of the live stream. Check it out. Check out the video we made. I worked with Lyncia Begay and Jaime Yazi, who are like the most amazing Dene women you ever met. I'm so honored to work with them. I'm honored to work with Kalika. I'm honored to work with Denise, Luis Benali, all these amazing women and men who are trying to bring back our old ways of teaching and learning. So check out our video, check out our crowdfunding page, see if it's something you want to be a part of, and we love you all so much. And we're doing this not only for our tribe and our land, the Nebekea, but we're doing this for all of our relations around the world. So with that, Sago, thank you for taking the time to listen. Sorry I couldn't say it in Navajo. I'm working on that. Aro Sago, Hojona Hastli, Hojona Hastli, Hojona Hastli, Hojona Hastli. Anyone was caught speaking Navajo in class, they'd have to go in the corner and they have to write 100 times, I will only speak English, I will only speak English, I will only speak English. And they actually made it a law that Native American youth would have to. So this is sort of the foundation of the assimilation of Indigenous youth. And so today we have a real grave and serious issue on our hands, where a lot of Native American languages are actually on the brink of extinction. And so it's kind of unfortunate because, hey everyone, good evening. What time is it? I think it's about 7:30 or something, New Mexico time. And I'm just hanging out here with my dog. And the thing I wanted to talk about today is Indigenous education. Attend these boarding schools, and if they didn't, then they would actually have to take their rations away from the tribe. So essentially you're basically saying, we're going to take your children, and if you don't let us, we're going to hold your food from you. And reclamation, because the issue that we have going on is that for a long time, education has been decided for Dene people. And my grandmother tells me that long time ago, in the 1930s when